So tell me about Barney Curls.
That's a long story. A lot of detail there. We're going to need to settle down and get into this. It all started on January 5th, 1917 in Madison, Florida. That's the day Aaron Bernard Curls, better known as Barney, was born. He came into the world at a time when Florida was still relatively small. Citrus groves stretched for miles, and dirt roads connected small towns. Along the way, Barney and his 7 siblings had moved to Tarpon Springs, but in the summer of 1932, he lived every kid's dream, playing semi-pro baseball in the Georgia-Florida League. But baseball wasn't exactly a reliable paycheck, so Barney switched gears and did what everyone had to do during the Great Depression: find work wherever he could. Barney took on all kinds of jobs, from working as a store clerk to joining the citrus industry.
My parents both grew up very poor, so they lived through the Depression. Daddy and his oldest brother both had to drop out of school to help support the family.
Barney's greatest victory that decade wasn't on the field or in the workplace. It was in love. Beulah Claudia Boyd, Granny, was born in Hines, Florida, had moved to Tarpon Springs with her parents and 10 siblings, and it was there that she met Barney. On September 7th, 1938, they married, promising to stand by each other through every adventure and every challenge to come. By 1940, Barney and Beulah were settled in Clearwater, where Barney worked at Food Machinery Corporation. Making $955 a year, he learned skills from welding to building machinery for processing citrus and vegetables. At home, life was just as full, and on September 10th that year, they welcomed their first child, Aaron. In 1941, Barney moved to Lakeland as an inspector in the tank division, and the family followed. They settled into a house at 837 Missouri Avenue, and not long after, they had their second son, John Sr. By 1945, Barney had worked his way up to chief inspector, working alongside the U.S. Navy to oversee wartime production. And that same year, he earned a business management diploma and welcomed his third child, Loretta. These were big changes, but even bigger ones were ahead. After the war, America was buzzing with possibility, and Florida was right in the thick of it. Walt Disney had his eye on the state, the space program was literally blasting off, and the people were realizing that sipping orange juice in the sun beat shoveling snow. Barney saw the momentum and the opportunity. He took a gamble. He left behind a steady job to try his hand at sales. He went to work for Southern Pump and Supply Company of Tampa and got his first taste of the pump industry.
He's looking to figure out what to do, and there's a need in the market. Florida's flat. You have to pump everything everywhere, and agriculture is booming. So I think that is where he makes his first play into the company that we now know as Barney's Pumps.
He had to have inventory, and the story goes there that manufacturers back then would not sell you a pump until you had an application. So you had to send in your application to Worthington or whoever the big pump manufacturer was, and their engineering department would look at it and say, okay, all that's good, and send you a pump. Well, Barney started lying. He would make up applications so he could put them in his garage at the house, because he knew he was dealing with the phosphate plants or the juice plants, and when they needed something, they need it now. So that's how he kind of built his little inventory. He goes out on a wing and a prayer, and he doesn't have everything that we have. You talk about a piece of paper and a pencil and a hope and dreams. There it was.
So in late 1950, Barney made the entrepreneurial leap and founded Barney's Pumps. By 1954, the company was incorporated, Barney at the helm and Beulah by his side managing all the office work. They were true partners, not just in business but in life. Barney traveled building the business, and Beulah kept everything running smoothly at the office and at home.
Barney and Beulah were partners actually from the beginning. My mom was the first employee. She worked in the office, and she did most of the office responsibilities. She was positive, very hopeful, very dedicated.
She was just kind of like the belle of the ball. She knew everybody, she knew your name, she'd talk to you, ask about kids and that kind of thing.
Those early years were tough. So tough that Barney often had to skip his salary just to keep the business afloat. But they stuck with it. By 1956, just 2 years later, Barney's Pumps had a new home on Highway 92, and by 1957, they made a bold move. They stepped away from the well drilling business to focus on the future, selling pumps. By 1961, the company had paid off its mortgage, and Aaron had joined the team. Florida's economy was booming, and Barney's small family business was growing alongside it. By the mid-1960s, the team needed more space, so in 1967 they moved to the bigger and current offices on Highway 98 South. That same year, the Lakeland Ledger honored Barney's Pumps with an Outstanding Distributor Award for excellence in sales and service.
My dad was very focused. He was a gentle soul, but he was focused on everything he did. He was serious. A lot of times people didn't exactly know how to take that.
He did have kind of a uniform that he wore. What I remember about him was that he had white on white clothing with black patent leather military shoes. He had a military flat top that completed the look. He ran the company according to his principles and what he firmly believed in. He ran it with what I'd like to call a velvet hammer.
The biggest thing about Barney was just the way he treated his people. Was just, it was something to watch, because he never raised his voice, never yelled. He would just very gently just kind of talk to people, and usually you go for a walk in a warehouse.
In 1975, Aaron stepped into the role of president, helping to lead the company into its next chapter. By then, Barney's Pumps wasn't just selling pumps. It was a go-to for everything from air compressors to sewage treatment systems, serving industries like phosphate, citrus, construction, government, and manufacturing. If it needed pumping, they had it covered. Sadly and tragically, in 1977, Aaron Curls Jr. was killed in an accident, a loss for both the family and the business. But despite the challenge, they continued to move forward, and by 1979, the company had grown to over 50 employees, a true reflection of the solid foundation Barney and Beulah had built. At that time, Florida was changing quickly. More people were moving in, and industries like manufacturing and construction were taking off. In the 1980s, their second son, John Sr., had taken over the company and was leading it into a new era of growth. Barney's Pumps expanded into new geography and new markets. And with the new offices opening across the state, the business didn't just grow, it thrived, keeping up with Florida's booming development. When Barney passed away in 1987, he left behind more than just a company. He left a legacy of hard work, innovation, and integrity. The foundation he built gave Barney's Pumps the strength to keep moving forward no matter the challenges. Very few companies make it to the third generation, let alone 75 years. But today, still led by the Curls family, Barney's Pumps grows, staying true to the same family values and commitment to service that have been at its core since the first day. I think if you come visit Barney's Pumps, you can't help but notice that we do things the right way around here. Barney's has relationships that span years and decades, not only with our employees, but with our vendors, but also with our customers.
Customer service at Barney's is never just a slogan. I think that we believed it.
It is hard to nail down just one instance where we have gone above and beyond, because it really is woven into who we are. We work every day to exceed expectations, and that is what we do.
The idea that the importance of the customer to the salesperson, obviously the front line of defense is the greatest. That's how that individual provides for his family. Now, the culture is such that every department supporting that salesperson believes that same thing, that I would be out there with them and that we would take care of the customer and hopefully we would have a lifelong partner on our hands.
We're not trying to solve a problem just to solve the problem, and we're looking 10, 20, 30 years down the road, and those long-term relationships are rewarding both ways. That's where I think that we go above and beyond on a regular basis, because you want to help somebody out that you have a good relationship with.
I've seen us go above and beyond on customer service probably more times than I could count. It's almost hard to think of an individual example. It regularly happens with the shop or even with our panel division, Unitron. A customer shows up, they've got a pump down, it is critical, and over hours or over weekends to get that pump back to them same day, next day.
I can remember Publix having a high pressure cleanup pump go down on the day before Thanksgiving, and we arranged a truck to haul it from Alabama to Florida, and we picked it up on Thanksgiving Day and took it to Publix so they could get their operation back up.
So really, it's our customers that drive us. We have to respond to the market and come up, they want new technology, we want to provide them with the new technology. And we've had to step up in a lot of areas.
But we used to do these little pump packages that they would go down to the phosphate mines. And I think Barney did a lot of that design, and it would just float out there with this big old pump on there, vertical turbine if I remember right, and it had to pump all the water everywhere. Well, we went from doing those really kind of simple, rudimentary things to Crystal Lagoons, which John Jr., oversaw and did a lot of work on, a lot of engineering work, and these things are behemoths. I mean, it's amazing how you went from something just so simple that was kind of a big deal to somebody to, my God, look what we've done, and who knows where that's going to take us.
I can go back and see some of these old pictures of things that used to get built around here that, like, who came up with that idea? Barney clearly needed a creative outlet.
My favorite story with Barney's Pumps innovation is our story of being involved in the Fukushima recovery effort in Japan.
After it melted down, they were buying stuff from all over the world. There was a customer that we had in Jacksonville that was supplying backup electrical generators for them. We were trying to get them to use our packages for their big generators.
So one of our sales guys knew some of the people there in Jacksonville, and they were looking to fast track this project. They had to have power on site within 90 days.
We had to have that thing done, and we had to have it done now, and it had to be right. Everything was on order, that it was being tracked, and I mean, we would have meetings after meetings after meetings. And you always wanted to make sure that all your points were covered. But when it came right down to it, when the rubber meets the road here, it was the shop that really shined on that thing, because they had to make sure they got it all, they got it put together, everything was right, and then that fell over to Justin Engineering to make sure it's all right, because we had to ship that thing within a month. I just had to make sure we had the right equipment at the right time. And that was pretty simple, but then now you got to put it together. And when something would go wrong, which Clayton ran into that with some of the piping, let's get it taken apart, let's get over there, call those people, it's coming, I got to have this stuff back tomorrow or tonight, and that's what we did.
So we had 6 weeks total to build 4 diesel fuel forwarding skids, and it was the first time we had done this for this customer, so we had many reasons for it to go well. We wanted to take care of the customer, we wanted a repeat customer, we wanted to obviously be part of the story of Japan's recovery effort.
So the Barney Pumps team is great at solving problems, challenges. I think a lot of them go unnoticed because we have some great people here, and it's really just called doing your job. We have smart people. I mean, it's come a long way, and to have this type of business, you better have smart people.
Yeah, after even just spending a little bit of time here interning, my dad was wondering what I thought about the culture as an outsider, and I immediately thought, well, I'm in high school and I'm used to doing group projects with a lot of people who could not care less about the quality of the final product. I was always that person in a group that gave 100% and wanted to get an A, and not everyone wants to do that. So then coming into a business where everyone cared about their jobs and I could see teams working together where everyone was equally pulling their weight, that was a really new concept for me, and I think that set the standard for how people should be working as coworkers.
The culture of this company was started by Barney's. He had those principles by which he operated. In typical John Sr. fashion, he expounded upon those, and I think that John Jr. has done the same. You know, he's taken the principles of his grandfather and of his father, and he has adapted them, and he's made them his own and made them correct for the times, because many companies today don't have either, and they just flounder around out there with no anchor. We have an anchor.
When I first came out of college, I went to work for General Electric, and they were great at training. And I got exposed to a lot of leadership training. The best thing I can do in terms of being a leader is to push my intent down to other people. We've got this group of high achievers, and they're going to be successful, and all I'm trying to do is just rein them in and point them in a direction, and when everybody's pulling on the same rope in a certain direction, we can just go that much faster.
So our 26 facets of our culture we call what makes us great. One of the things that I've recognized is that you can't take them individually. You really have to take them as a whole. Our culture is constantly at the forefront of what we do and who we are.
The thing that separates good to great is the people, and our people are great.
when I interviewed in 2017, the president at the time, Greg Riching, said, hey, you're going to be challenged, but you're also going to be rewarded.
When I retired here, and I'd worked here for a long time, that I always felt that we treated the customer fairly and we treated the employees fairly. That there was an effort made every day to treat people right. Part of it is that there's a shared common goal to drive as many pumps down that street as you can do it. And what that means is that you're not fighting with each other, you're fighting for the common goal, the common, the success of the company.
We've grown and grown and grown, but we still are able to hold on to that family mentality, that family feel, that the idea that I've got your back, right? The idea that there's no problem that's too big, the idea that we're in this together, all of those things.
We are so much more than Pump Company. We are a group of people who are committed to each other, and we're committed to excellence in what we do. We believe in each other. We really do want what's best for each other. It is an exciting place to be. There is a lot of opportunity, but at the core, we really do care about the people that we work with.
To be involved with an organization that has been around for 75 years, first off, it's really wild to think that all the ground we've covered. We've grown 65% in 5 years, which is profound. It's been a great effort by all of us to stay on track and to be kind to each other and to continue to grow in a way that feels like we still are what we want to be, right? Which is family run, family owned.
As we've experienced this exponential growth is what it feels like, we also see where there's a lot of opportunity to get better, and we're investing. John Jr.'s been reinvesting in the company the last couple of years. A lot of us are excited. We have a lot of young new faces as well, and so they are bringing a different energy to the company, and so we see a lot of potential.
I believe we're successful because we never think we're done. We are constantly striving to be better. To do it better, to find a better way, to innovate something differently.
We're at the 75th year of Barney's Pumps, and wow. In one way, it's kind of hard to believe because only a small percentage of businesses make it from one generation to the next. So by the time you make it down to the third generation, the statistics will tell you you're only 3% of businesses.
If my parents could see Barney's Pumps today, they would be thrilled. And it stayed in the family. He would have been real proud of that.
I think my great-grandparents would be very glad that it has grown so much, and just the people between my great-grandfather and me have put in all that hard work for all of these amazing payoffs to come true.
What would Barney think of Barney's Pumps today?
So can you guys just make sure that my dad doesn't bring the chair out here, that he just keeps that in the office? Okay.
Quiet on set. Action.
I'm Kate Marshall, and I'm CFO at Barney's Pumps.
Whoa, hey, stop, sorry. Buddy, you can't keep interrupting. It's just not sitting well.
Oh, I'm sorry. All of this isn't on tape, is it? We can there's no...
I know you think you're funny. It's good, but I'm not sure I see a future here. It's called stand-up comedy. Listen, I just don't think you're going to be able to play the I used to be an upholstery addict card anymore. It's not going to work. You're fully recovered.
When I was asking someone, how do I open this cabinet? Is it locked? They told me to push the button, and I thought, well, all of my documents are saved automatically to my cloud, so I guess I never would have figured out how to do this on my own.
Her fingers feel so gentle with her hand in mine.
I know you're searching for meaning. Have you thought about nonprofit work? Charity?
Her hair feels like silk on my arm.
I think you're better than real leather. I mean, think of yourself as faux fur. You know, plus, like, we can actually say that no Naga beasts were harmed in the filming of this movie. I think you can feel good about that.
The Christmas parties, well, back in the day, there's a little more drinking involved. There's definitely some dancing to Rocky Top that I remember. A lot of ties came off towards the end of the night.
Her lips tell me so tenderly, she's mine alone.
Hey, I know you think you're some kind of big deal now, but you're not some personality. This isn't very charismatic.
This particular startup, for some reason, the director of construction for NASA decided to show up. This guy, I've been out there doing 20 or 30 startups thus far, and this guy's never been there. Phil then proceeds to speak out loud that Pump 1 is screwed. Well, he's standing there, arms crossed over the lift station, and my field service guy says, Pump 1 is screwed. And I'm like, oh no.
Until she parked tonight.
Come on, that was good. That was good. So this is gonna be. Do I need to hold the thing? Would that be better? Do I need a prop? Do I did? Okay.
And she goes home.
Thank you.
What makes us great? Week 1 is we're a sales company. Week 2 is work on the big stuff first.
John,
week 3,
that's enough.
get
We
stuff
gotta
done.
get back to work.
No, week 4, I'm not done. It's urgency.
We gotta get back to work. Let's go.
Week 5, quick and wrong is wrong.